guys, Ken here, your Thrifty Apprentice, and welcome back to another Thrifty review. In today's video, we are taking a look at Derwent 36 count of watercolor pencils. Now, I know it may be a little off-centered. I have this 10 positioned so that the lights won't reflect in it, hopefully. So I've been using this set for a few weeks now. I've had it for quite some time. It's with a lot of the products that I eventually get around to reviewing, because I do have products that are kind of just in backstash that haven't been opened yet that I'm trying to get to reviewing as I do the other type of videos that I do on the channel. So the pencils come in this tin, which is actually pretty sturdy if the truth be told. Now, from what I understand, this is a re-release, that the original watercolor pencils had a different look and the tin had a different look. So I'm not sure if that's a different set of pencils or not. So I am speaking specifically about this particular tin of 36 watercolor pencils. Now, I'm not even sure if they produce the other pencils anymore. It's just my understanding that they do exist. So I did want to kind of put that disclaimer out there about what's going on in this video. So the tin is pretty sturdy. It says Derwent Watercolor 36, made in the UK. 36 watercolor pencils, or crayons as they may be called. There is a painting here that is indicative, with Derwent products. Is really pretty. And of course it is meant to emulate that the pencils were used to do this painting. Graham Brace is the artist. Very beautiful, very beautiful. And then there is an image here of what the pencils will look like inside the container. If you flip the tin over on the back, it says Derwent Watercolor 36. This versatile pencil, these versatile pencils have a water-soluble core, allowing you to draw and paint with complete control. They can be used wet or dry on wet or dry paper to create a variety of effects. Techniques: apply dry pencil color to dry paper and add a light wash of water. Add dry pencil color onto wet paper to create soft lines and edges. Take color off the pencil using a wet paintbrush and apply to wet or dry paper. Now, I'm gonna stop there and say this is one of the few products I've ever seen that encourages the customer or the artist to actually use the wet paintbrush on the lid. I've actually seen some that suggest you don't do that. And there are even some articles out there that suggest you don't do it. Now, I always do it. I encourage you guys to do it. I tell you, just make sure you don't wet the wood of the barrel of the pencil, but hey, use that as a palette. I mean, as like a pan of paint. Go for it. For a splatter effect, flick a wet paintbrush across the pencil tip. So it does give you all of these different techniques that you can use with the pencil, and it even gives you an illustration of what each one of those techniques look like. So that's actually pretty cool. During over here you have a website. There's a QR code to scan. I'm assuming taking you to information about the pencils. Please retain the tin for reference. It does suggest contents may be substituted with a product equal or superior to that specified, meaning that if that particular set color range isn't available at the time, then they're going to substitute, which is understandable. And what else do we have here? We have the AP seal of approval, conforms to ASTM 4236 regulations. Again, it lets you know it's made in the UK. ACO UK Limited, Oxford House, Oxford Road. And then it's given the address in England. So there you have it. That's what's on the tin, guys. Let's pop these babies open, because I do not want that light to reflect. And we will, if I can get it open, it's really not hard to open. I don't know if you've watched any of my videos lately, you will know I've had trouble getting tins open. Seriously. What is going on? My hands are slippery or something? For goodness sake. All right. So here we finally have The barrel of the pencils, we have 36 pencils. They were arranged in a different order when I originally got the pencils. I do not believe that the tin tells you what order. Now, on the inside of that tin, you're going to have some additional information. Every Derwent pencil is crafted to the same exacting high standards, keeping alive the impeccable heritage of the Cumberland Pencil Company, home of the traditional British pencil making since 1832. The skills and expertise we have gained over the generations have enabled us to create the world's largest range of fine art pencils, from the simple graphite pencil to an inspiring collection of color pencils to suit the creative desire of every artist. Today, we remain committed to developing and creating innovative fine art pencils whose qualities and consistency is, we believe, unsurpassed. So there you have it. Straightforward. 1832. That is a long time to be making pencils, guys. Long time. So let's take a look at the barrel of the pencil here. You have a straightforward watercolor pencil. Now these look completely different from the Inktense pencils. Now I'm going to see if I can grab one without falling over. Okay, so I happen to have a set of Inktense here, and as you can see, in comparison, the regular watercolor pencil is lighter in color. It has a different shape, whereas the Inktense is round. This one has, what, 2, 4, 6 octagonal sides, 8 sides. So it is designed to keep it from rolling away from you while you're using it. It is a capped pencil, so you cannot see whether or not that lid is centered right away. There is a color chip here that is supposed to correlate with the color of the pencil. Now, I use my pencils down a lot before I sharpen them. That's why this lid is so short, excuse me. On the barrel, you're going to see it says England Derwent Watercolor. It does give the color name and the number that correlates with the color name with Derwent. So that's all you have. Now, here's what I'll tell you about it. The pencils are light fast. The information that they are, the proclamation that they are light fast is stated on their website. However, there is no light fast star rating associated with the packaging or on the barrel of the pencils. So it's kind of like taking it with a grain of salt or taking their word for it. Now, with Derwent being a legacy company, it would be one that I would lean more towards taking their word that the pencils are light fast than it would be if they were just some fly-by-night budget company that happens to be releasing art products that I know are produced in a factory outside of that main company. I don't believe that it's something you have to worry about with Derwent products. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, I do not believe that the Inktense pencils are as light fast as the regular watercolor pencils, if I'm remembering the information that I sourced correctly. So that's kind of the barrel of the pencil straightforward. Each one of them does have the name and the corresponding color number. Now, the lid of the barrel does match the color chipping moderately on some pencils. Some of them maybe not so much, so I definitely suggest that you swatch the pencil. Now, the barrel of the pencil itself is constructed of a wood that is actually pretty decent quality. The pencils are light. They're really easy to hold. I didn't find any issues with them or have any comfortability issues with the pencils, you know. They sharpen really well. They will sharpen to a really fine point, and they will hold that point. With that being said, the lid of this pencil is pretty scratchy, and there will be fallout. The pencils will smudge. We'll look at that in just a moment. So those are just some things that I think you should know about the pencil itself. But as you can see there, that lid will get really, really sharp. And I use an electric sharpener. Let's see here. We will sharpen. Let's sharpen this one. Excuse the noise. All right, so that's a beautiful point on that pencil. So they will hold a really nice point, and they don't tend to break as long as you're applying light to moderate pressure. Now, I would not suggest applying heavy pressure with a lid like that for these pencils being as soft or as quote unquote brittle as they are. All right, so let's see here. Was there anything else I wanted to say about the actual barrel of the pencil itself? No, let's take a look at some color swatching. Now, as I always suggest, I swatch the pencils out, and I did do a little testing, color mixing, and you're gonna get to see some notes that I made over here about the pencils as we talk about them. So, and I spilled some coffee on you guys. Listen, the last 2 weeks, I can't even tell you, but I swatched the colors out. I kept them in a pretty rainbow ordered arrangement, or so I thought it was until I actually saw them, but it's a pretty decent order. There is a pretty decent range of colors. You do get a cool and a warm of each. You can pull out primary colors. They wet or release with a damp brush really easily and really well. The colors are saturated. There is not going to be a huge shift from wet to dry. Now, these are what I call traditional colors. They don't have like the huge punch that you see with, like, say, the Inktense or some other watercolor pencils. Let me think. Now, I would hold these up against Caran d'Ache per se. Although I do not think that they surpass Caran d'Ache. If I had to put them in that running, they would be a close second to my Caran d'Ache, which is my favorite watercolor pencil. But I would say that they kind of give me the same color payout. Well, no, I was about to say the Mandaloos, the Koh-i-Noor Mandaloos, but actually I think they may be a little bit more saturated as well. These pencils give me more of a traditional watercolor feel and effect with the way the colors look, but they are really pretty. I really, really like these pencils, I have to be honest. Despite the few drawbacks, you know, the scratchy lid, the debris. Here you'll see on the smudge test, they did smudge. However, the pencils do erase really well. You know, if you make a mistake, you can get back to the white paper for the most part. I'll just let you see that. Now, this testing is done on universal pad mixed media paper. Let me show you. So I use this all the time. I use this paper for my book binding when I'm making journals, art journals or mixed media journals, for my Etsy shop, or if I'm just making one as a gift or just for practice myself. This is a pretty robust all around universal mixed media paper that I pick up from Jerry's Autorama. It's normally on sale. It's by Creative Marks, so it's one of their house brands. And it does pretty well. It does pretty well, I will admit. So that's what this paper is. And this is, I want to say this is Bee Inspired 140 pound cold pressed acid free paper by the Bee Company. I picked it up from Walmart, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what this is. I'm not exactly sure. But I think that on 100% cotton paper, you will get a much better color payoff, and we'll get to look at that in just a second. So here I did some color mixing. The colors actually blended really well. Lemon yellows and the more orangey, what color was that? They have funny names, and I don't want to pull the tin back out right now. But here I was able to use the more true red in the lemon yellow to achieve a nice orange. The ultramarine in the lemon gave me a pretty decent green. Here I was using the warmer yellow, the one that looks more golden like the sun. I forget what it's called. I think it's oh goodness, I forget. I don't know the names. I don't know the color names, guys. I don't. But you get the point. You can see the color mixing here. Here I was using that more true red and ultramarine and got a saturated violet or purple tone. So the colors will mix really well. for it to be a pencil, so you can create other colors from that 36 range, although that's a pretty nice set, color set to choose from without having to mix colors. And each of the colors are saturated, so they didn't pull any punches with them. I mean, don't get me wrong. Again, I still don't believe that they are the best pencil I've ever experienced, but I really do think that they are a good quality pencil. And they aren't, you know, as far as all the pencils I have, and I've tested quite a few of them on the channel. So let's take a look at some of the artwork that was done with them. I've used these pencils for quite a while. We did some whimsical landscapes here on book page in one of the videos. Each one of these will be a tutorial or a demo that's on the channel if you want to go back and check it out. If I can remember, I'll try to link all of those in this video description, but I can't make any promises. Just be straightforward about that. So here we use the pencils on book page, and they actually worked really well. I combined it with stickers, and I was making ephemera. This is actually a art journaling tag to be tucked inside of an art journal. And if I had one on hand, I would show you guys, but never mind that. The pencils worked well in that aspect, and that was actual book page, which is not necessarily meant for watercolor pencils. And I was able to get the colors to disperse and still show up pretty saturated there. So next, I used the pencils in a video doing these whimsical mushroom houses. Again, they were turned into ephemera. Here we have a journaling card, and this is backed with mixed media paper for drawing or painting or what have you. And it's just something to break you out of, like, maybe an artist block, having this different crazy shape to paint on. And again, these just took right inside of an art journal or a junk journal to serve as tags. And it's a way to put your own original artwork inside things that you may be constructing. Next, I used the paints on, I do believe this one up next, but I'm just gonna lay them all out here. So I used the pencils on this painting of an iris on the channel. Now this was done on the New York Central. I was testing this hot press paper. Those pencils work beautifully on that paper. I actually loved that. And this was the that universal pad paper. This is the same paper that the color mixing was done on, that the mushroom houses were. And then the Cityscape silhouette, whimsical silhouettes, they were used, the pencils were used on, this is, okay, so this is the Be Inspired 140-pound cold press watercolor paper that these were done on. This swatching is Fabriana Studio. So, different range, variety of papers that the pencils were used on. Here's a little landscape that I did off camera. This is done on New York Central 140-pound cold press paper. It's 100% cotton. And as you can see, they show up really, really beautifully. This is just something basic. I was just kind of playing around. It wasn't anything that I was taking too seriously when I did this painting. But for all intents and purposes, it's pretty cool. So there are all of the projects and the artwork that I was able to achieve with the pencils across a wide range of papers, and they worked really, really well, guys. Really, really well. So, wrapping all of this up, here's what I'll say. As far as it goes, I think this is one of the better products that I've had the chance of using and experiencing. I really love the color payoff. I mean, the only drawback I really feel that these pencils have is the fact that they smudge more than most other watercolor pencils that I've used. Maybe that's just my experience, but that is what it is. Outside of that, yeah, I don't see any issues with these pencils, and I would definitely recommend them. I think this would be a great way to go if you just wanted to get you a nice set of pencils, be done with it. You didn't want to have to buy any more pencils, and it's a great alternative to the Caran d'Ache because they are much, much, much more affordable. If I'm not mistaken, these pencils are also more affordable than the bigger range of Inktense pencils. So again, that may be a great alternative for you. Now the price on these pencils are currently, let's take a look here. So the pencils are currently on Amazon. Those are the Inktense. Hold on. So here we have the 36 count Derwent color pencils, watercolor pencils. Okay. Looks a little bit different. It's the same drawing, as just stretched out across the 10. They're currently $45.53 for that 36 count if you order them from Amazon. And here we have them at Jerry's Autorama. If you order them online, you have the 36 count watercolor pencil 10 set for $58.13. And of course, if you're a Prime member, you'll get free delivery from Amazon. So they are currently cheaper at Amazon than at Jerry's. It really just depends on whether you have a coupon or things of that nature and sort. I will be sure to link both of those in the video description so that you can source either one if you choose to. I will also go ahead and inform you that if you use the Amazon link, it is an affiliate link and it helps me make a few pennies here and there. Now, that's not to encourage you to use it. I just like to disclose that information because I don't want there to be any secrets. All right, so there you have it, guys. I definitely recommend the pencils. You can get them in the $45 to $60 range, depending on where you get them from, depending on whether you want to pay taxes and all those good things and what have you and whatnots. All right, very good. So I suggest the pencils. Beginners, artists who've been painting forever, artists who've been using watercolor pencils forever, botanical artists, coloring book enthusiasts. I think everybody will love these pencils. So there you have it, guys. If you found any of this information helpful, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. It will definitely help the channel. Go ahead and share. Sharing is caring, and this may be information that someone else can utilize and find helpful as well. Check us out on all of our social media sites. There will be links in the video description. And you can also find a link for the Thrifty Apprentice sponsored Facebook group, Paints, Pencils, Pastels, and Markers, where we do all things artsy and crafty. Everyone is welcome, so as long as you come with respect. Other than that, remember, as I tell you guys at the end of every single video, just keep painting and crafting.